Hey, Robin, how you doing? What's up?
Oh, yeah, thanks for the email on my dating app. Why does everybody keep asking me that question? The answer is, no, I'm not. But I'm staying very intentional that I'm going to meet Mr. Wonderful.
Oh, that's great.
I have no doubt. Yeah.
You tried dating service?
John, have you met me? I would never do a dating service. I put my puss out for the world to see. No, that's like yucky.
The club singers. That could be a lot of fun.
Well, you know what, honey, you're sweet, but you're not a woman. This is New York. That's dangerous. I would never get involved with anybody I met at a club. I would never let them take me home. I would never give them my phone number. No. Listen, I'm very intentional. I know exactly what I want him to look like. I kind of even made like a vision board, and I'm in prayer about it every night.
I have a great idea. It's really hot now in New York City.
Thank you so much.
Are yoga studios and gyms?
No,
Gyms are
no.
cool. Really hot.
I'm a little old, and maybe I'll like work out at home, and I don't know, maybe down the line I'll consider it. But no, I'm not looking too cute in my tights. But thanks for asking.
Okay.
All right, John, rock and
Have
roll.
a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye, sweetie.
No gyms, no yoga clubs, no nightclubs, no dating services, no nothing. Stay at home and I'll pray. All people are alike. They have all the excuses in the world why they are afraid to step out. Step out and have fun. They're afraid of failure. It's like the person says, when I retire someday, I'm going to take this trip. Or when the kids grow up. When the kids grow up, then I can go and do this or that. Oh, when I settle down and get married, I can do this or that. It's ridiculous. We always have an excuse. These excuses are nothing but the way we lie to ourselves, trick ourselves in order to justify our fears of stepping out and finding ourselves and creating our new reality. Getting out of our comfort zone. It's really challenging. So, stop wishing and start acting, or stay put and be bored. Don't complain.
Oh, give me your wallet.
Journey with me, baby. Take you on a ride. Cut the chase, let's race down to the lifestyle. Judging makes you crazy. Easy is so free. Come with me, 'cause mentally I'm lovely. To be loved, fearlessly to be loved, so holy. BuddhaBaby, shake me in my belly. To be loved, fearlessly to be loved, so holy. BuddhaBaby, shake me in my belly.
Welcome, everyone, to our show From Fear to Love. I'm Dr. John Querci, and my co-host is, as usual, Robin Paris. And this is our show of self-discovery. Tonight we have a very special guest, Lady Colleen Heller, and I've just had the opportunity to meet her actually today in person, but we had several conversations in last week. She's a very special person and a personal friend of Robin's. She comes here from Cairo, Egypt, and she's a healer. Robin?
I am so excited to have Lady Colleen Heller on the show. As you said, John, she is a really dear friend of mine. I first met Lady in 2000, and she has been very much a part of my journey. As you said, John, she is a healer. She is a transformational speaker. She is an herbalist. She is a channel. She is one of the most powerful, not only women, but people walking around the planet. And I want you to all meet her and embrace the greatness of Lady. So tonight our episode is called Wishes need action. So without any further ado, please join us in welcoming Lady Colleen Heller. Yes. It is my privilege to welcome Lady Colleen Heller. Lady, it's so good to see you.
Thank you.
It's a long cab ride from Cairo, Egypt, which is where Lady lives, in the Sinai. Awesome that you're here. Welcome to New York.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's nice to be back. John, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Same here, lady. Tonight we have Lady Colleen Heller, and she's a healer. She's many things, but what we're going to talk about tonight is wishes need action. And Lady Colleen is going to give us some idea, or the question I have for her is to give us some idea, some takeaway, a few takeaway cues on how we can make this happen in our personal everyday life in a quiet way without even other people knowing about it, so that we could transform ourselves and create our own new reality. So what do you have to offer us, lady?
Wow, that's a nut. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about what I've discovered on my own journey, which I find interesting, and most people do. To find some girl from Richmond, Virginia, living in Cairo, Egypt for 11 years, it's pretty hard for people to understand. But let me tell you this. The most important thing I found about living abroad was the depth that we don't tap into in our small little towns, and that there is a sea of knowing that each one of us carry. And I think that going to a place that you do not know the language and you have no idea what the culture is going to be like, and you struggle through that, you really get to know who you are, you really get to know who you aren't. And so that's changed quite a bit for me. I have loads of little pearls of wisdom, John. They stretch all vastness of ways and means, but we want to keep it simple. So I spoke to them both, and I mentioned that there's a particular principle that I use in my empowerment coaching and in lecturing, and it's called the Goya principle.
What does that stand for, lady?
Well, it's actually G-O-Y-A, not Goya, the word that a lot of people know. It means get off your arse. It means stop waiting for it to happen and start creating. It's fine to have different views on how to make it happen. It's fine for everyone to tell you, you have to love yourself, you have to be all right with things, you have to forgive, you have to find different ways to be happy. But no one's telling you how to do that.
But lady, don't you agree the biggest problem people have, once they even recognize that they have the issues, that keeps them trapped in their little penthouses on top of Manhattan, is that they're fearful of failing. They may be beautiful, they may be rich, they may be successful, they may have all the right titles and whereabouts, but they're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of failure. They're afraid of the fear of not making it. So they'd rather not go through the emotional pain and to isolate themselves. Even though they're in public and active all the time, they're isolated behind their facade. How do you get them around that?
Well, I think one of the problems we have is that people are very lonely.
They are.
And that aloneness and the isolation you're talking about, you can find it in all walks of life, not just
Absolutely.
the penthouse people. Finding some joy, which is missing, is probably the beginning of my concept of the Goya principle, is how do we bring that lightness back in? How do we get rid of some of the shadows that we carry through simple means, things we've let go of and forgotten? The first thing that I always tell everyone is that you must have heard the expression, laughter is the best medicine.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes? And who uses it?
Nobody.
Absolutely. Who uses it?
They're
It is
afraid
the
to.
most simple, easy pearl that anyone can do. And it could be watching a movie that you really like, talking to your friends, big old belly laughs, also good for the abdominals, can really lighten the spirit. In fact, the endorphins that are released by laughter changes the chemical balance in the body, which reduces stress, and guess what? It alleviates fear.
Well, is not stress fear?
I don't know.
Or
I think
anxiety?
stress is a combination of things, and the stress therapy that we do, it's a lot of things, but not necessarily all fear is stress, and not necessarily all stress is fear, but they are related. They are related.
Well, the anxiety connected to fear, the anxiousness.
Yes.
Are we going to get this work done? How well are we going to do it? Do we look pretty enough? Is our dress okay?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. And in different cultures, you find it in different ways, but everywhere you walk, you still find it.
So basically what you're saying is that we have to, it's one thing to wish for something, as John, was saying, that sometimes our fear keeps us from, from taking action. So we have to co-create, we have to partner with the universe in moving us to what it is that we hope for.
You first have to have the desire. This is one of the biggest things. Everyone talks the talk, but like we all know, not everyone walks the walk. And I think you've said that earlier, and I've used that all the time. One of the reasons why I am successful in my business is because I walk my talk. And everyone who knows me will say that this is true. Even if it means taking a risk and puts myself in a position that probably not other people would take, if I feel that that's going to make that happen and it's all going to work in the right way, that I've done that, I'm going. But this took time, and the Goya principle is about creating that time and space slowly but surely to get to being fearless.
And that is what healing's all about. I think most people really don't understand that. They look at it as healing and sickness. In a way, it's a sickness, but it's not the same. But the healing process it takes time. You have to let the wounds heal, you have to expose them, you have to embrace them, and you have to let them go.
There is that for sure. But what I was hoping on this show, because I kind of like the title, From Fear to Love, is that we do what you asked me, was kind of like, let's go to the very basic things that aren't going to take that kind of trauma and drama, because these are huge things that you're talking about. And people have so much difficulty letting go of one single bit of what you've just said. It's massive what you've just said. So I take them on the small journey first, and that is laughter. And then after that, one of the things that we seem to forget is music is the vibration of spirit.
Yes.
And when you dance and when you sing, you are vibrating off the stress, the anxiety, the discomfort, pain, sorrow, grief. Some of the major things, as in moving and divorce and losing a child. No one's going to say, hey, let's dance. But I take them on a dance. I take them on the dance. We put on soft music if they're really upset. But then we bring the beat up. And even if they cry, I know they're taking it off their body. And they're giving off the real true spirit that is inside themselves. They get a chance to find a peaceful place where the trauma never existed when we come into the world.
Do you find that when you are taking people on that journey of dancing, that there's a self-consciousness about it in the beginning, or do you find that there's such a yearning in the soul to make that kind of a release that it just comes very naturally?
It depends on the state of the person. If the person is going through something really traumatic, like a death, it's going to take a little bit more time, but I'm still going to play the music, and I'm going to still sing with them, and I'm going to still sit with them, and we're still going to sway back and forth to the music just a little bit, and let her rock or him rock his way through it a little bit. Then as the days go by, before you know it, I'll say, look, just play that and just jump for me for 10 minutes this morning. Just jump. Shut the doors. No one can see you. Who cares?
Dance as if there's no one watching.
Nobody's watching, and they do.
Yeah.
And when they've done that jumping, they call on the phone crying, I jumped. I'm guilty. I jumped. I shouldn't be jumping. If I'm jumping, that means I don't really care about what's just happened. I said, no. When you're jumping and you're releasing, it means you do care so much about yourself. You love yourself so much that you can give that love out to whoever's departed and send them off in the spirit world in a lovely, loving, kind, laughter, joyous way. Not bring it so internal and make yourself even more weighed down.
Right, yes.
So the dancing is very important. So laughter, and then music and dance,